This video is made for adult collectors because I'd never actually heard of a Boneshaker until this figure got revealed. It looks cool though. Another video is about this, and we'll get to this in a second, but I want to show you the coolest thing that showed up the other day. I got that. I love this thing. It's one of the coolest like action figures I've ever owned. It's huge. That's a deluxe next to it. It's enormous. I've been a casual Hot Wheels enjoyer since I was young, when I was like 2 and I would chew on them. Jokes aside, I like cars, so every once in a blue moon I'd get a Hot Wheels car I'd like. More recently I spent $7 buying 2 of these because my favorite video game, of course I need the Cyberpunk Hot Wheels. Then they announced Transformers and, you know, here we are. Boneshaker looks amazing. There is so much nice silver in all the right spots, that massive skull up front and those side exhausts. I love the engine block peeking out the top here and the silver canisters on the back. There is even a Hot Wheels logo on the front. It's very tiny, but I like that. I'm glad he has an interior, though it is very under detailed. I do wish it had a little bit more going on here, but seeing as there's a lot of hinges inside this thing's driving position, I can see why there isn't. I love how at the front they textured the inside of the eyes of the skull, painted the headlights and the suspension, not to mention they picked out the taillights on the back. I love to see that. It's a Hot Wheels car, so you'd expect it to roll well, and it probably does if it wasn't my copy. This one has a pretty stiff front driver's side wheel. I think when they shot the pin in, it went in a little too far and it's too tight. Oh well. The stick. I don't like this method of storage. I get what it's going for because it's a gear stick, but like, that just looks ridiculous. I'm taking it off. I can also see why a lot of people say this should have been a Decepticon, but I don't know, something about this mean looking car being a good guy is funny to me. I do wish this at the back would stay tabbed together though. It is pretty easy to knock this out of place because it doesn't actually clip properly. It makes a soft click, but it doesn't actually lock itself into place. It's about deluxe size, which makes sense, and it's a very solid car. Other than that bit at the back I just mentioned, everything else wants to stay nice and tabbed together. Transformation reminds me a lot of like a modern mini-bot in how fluid and solid everything moves and how each piece has a clearly defined place to go. I thought this thing was going to be complicated and annoying, or just annoying, and my battery's gonna die. Hot swap the battery. Let's get this mounted back on the tripod. I thought this thing was gonna be complicated and annoying, but it isn't. It's actually very, very simple. This thing reminds me a lot of a new mini-bot in terms of how like all the pieces move and how everything goes in chunks. And it's very satisfying. Like a lot of the mini bots, like Beachcomber, 86B, Sea Spray, they're all really, really solid and fun to transform because everything moves in like units. And this works the same way. So the first thing we're going to do is pop the exhaust pipes down and out, and then bring these up here to the side. Then we're going to fold the front section down like that and just leave this sort of like this. Now what we're going to do is come here to the back, and we're going to split this and then bring this section out. Bring the back up, but leave it. Then we're going to push the seats out on either side. They are going to form the heels. And then you want to fold these bits at the back here in, and then compress this in and bring that down. And that's the legs. I really love the way that that works, especially this part right here. Getting it back out's a little annoying because you got to get your fingernails under there, and I don't have any fingernails. But it is really fun to just take this and go bonk, and there's his legs. That's very cool. Oh, and then you split them. Then you activate the very interesting ankle tilt, but we'll talk about that later. Now we want to take the arms. So they're hidden in here. You want to bring them out, right, all the way, and then bring them all the way up like this, and they're going to sit there. Then you want to take this entire upper torso section and bring it down, and it will click into place. Then you close that section up around the shoulders, and it will lock the shoulders into place. Then you bring the arms down, fold out the hands, do that on both sides. These sections here, you want to take these and bring them back all the way. Now, a lot of the like promo images have these wheels sticking straight up, but I think that makes the shoulders look bad, so I like to leave them down. And that kind of makes the shoulders feel more filled in and less really low. And then you rotate the head around, and there you have Boneshaker in his robot mode. It's very fun to do that. I really, really enjoy doing this. It's super cool. I do wish this could like fold down maybe. That's like the only thing that bugs me slightly about this, but everything else is just very smooth and very easy to do. And it's not like your typical collaborative toy where it's either complex or just fiddly. Like none of this does that. Like the football guys are complex but fun. G.I. Joe Cup was fiddly but fun. But like this is just solid and fun. It's very nice. It's such a nice transformation. I keep doing it back and forth at my desk, and this robot mode is about as intimidating as the car mode. The only visual thing I don't like that looks off to me is the shoulders. They sit a bit low for my liking. I get it's because of the wheel placement and all that, but it still looks a tad bit off. Everything else, though, looks sick. I like the new orange paint that gets revealed on the forearms and the crotch piece and how he's just a brick. The legs are a bit odd. He doesn't really have anything in the way of feet visually. They are there. That's just odd looking. And when activating the ankle tilt, it looks even more odd because they're just on the back of the legs. However, something about that to me just fits this entire figure's weird vibe, and I kind of like how the ankle tilt works. He can hold his stick and probably beat you with it. I kind of want to give this guy like a massive double shotgun or something. Head sculpt is very nice. The shape reminds me a bit of Prima's head, but with exhaust pipe for ears. And he cleans up pretty well. Nothing terrible hanging off the back other than like the windshield bar. So yeah, you'd think someone this chunky couldn't do anything interesting, but like, there's a lot of range in almost all of the joints except for maybe the shoulders. Like the head is on a ball joint. You don't get a lot of tilt. You get a little bit. I feel like that's just enough, and then you get your rotation. But because of that massive cut back there, he can look all the way up, which is awesome. I wish more figures could look this far up. That's epic. These shoulder pads can move up and down to accommodate these shoulders, which are universal joints. They can do a full 360. They can go out that far. You do have a bicep rotation. You have 90 degrees of bend at the elbow and nothing at the wrist. He does have a waist joint, which is uninhibited. However, one thing I did notice, it just kind of looks a bit empty here in the torso. It's a little strange. The hips are awesome. They can go forward that far, they can go back that far, and then they can go in and out. However, if you rotate the waist just enough, because of the gap, this is where the fists go, by the way, but because of the gap, you can now get the leg to go all the way up. So you can, and his knee bends really deep, so you can like get him into some really, really good kneeling poses like that, which I think is awesome. You do have your thigh rotation, and like I said, the knee can bend literally all the way because of transformation, and there's even a gap here for the crotch, so like you can get that leg very high up. And then the ankle tilt. The ankle tilt is funny because it's here, but not here because of transformation. This has to stay where it is, but like, bonk, there's your ankle tilt. It is very strange looking, I will admit. I think it is very weird looking, but I think just because of how chunky he is and how like robotic the lower legs look because of all the folding bits down here, this feels like, I don't know, it just feels like it fits the figure. It's like, oh, the ankle tilts from the inside because he's just a weirdo, because he looks like a weirdo, and I love it. I think it's great. But yeah, he's very, very posable, very, very fun to move around. These I wish could peg in. They don't peg in. That's like my only complaint there. But yeah, I like this. I dig this a lot. It's honestly one of the most solid and fun collab figures they've put out in a while, and I can't wait for Twin Mill to finally ship out here, because for some reason these things ship separately. However, this is 40 Canadian dollars. Deluxes are normally 36 to 38 Canadian dollars depending on where you get them, but 40 Canadian isn't bad for something like this because collab tax or whatever, but I don't know. I really like this, but I don't see 40 Canadian out of this. If you can get it on sale, or like I did where I got the EB Games 15% off thing, not sponsored, then I would say totally get it at that point. It's 100% worth it. It's still a very fun figure. I just think 40 is a little high. But that's my look at, what's this guy's name? Boneshaker. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.